Recently, Microsoft decided they were once again going to shock the gaming world, gamers alike, not this gamer so much, with this Activision Blizzard acquisition, and we're going to talk about it. I say I'm not terribly surprised. I'm not terribly shocked with this acquisition because when they were just kind of picking here and there, pick with just a developer or 2, 3, maybe 4, and then they went out and bought the whole publisher with Bethesda. Every time I said, this is not over, and Microsoft is not playing, especially after the Bethesda acquisition. I'm like, wow, that kind of came out of nowhere. Also not terribly surprising because they've always had a really good relationship with Bethesda, but just the amount of money, picking up a whole publisher, it's like that came out of nowhere. But every time I said, this isn't over. And I'm telling you now, again, this isn't over. I think even $70 billion spent, it's a lot of money, but it's not over. I really feel like they're going to take 1 or 2 of the other really well-known publishers before this generation is over. Probably sometime in the next 2 or 3 years, I could see them picking up an EA, a Ubisoft, Take-Two, definitely a couple of those. I don't know what the ultimate end game is outside of money. That's always going to be the ultimate goal, but I don't know if they feel like this is like the crushing blow for PlayStation or something. Like if we take all of the major third-party games away and we have to force them to rely on their first-party titles and nothing else, and their gamers are starved for games while they're waiting for the next big first-party game, I don't know. We don't know what the ultimate goal outside of money is. I'm not saying they're even trying to take Sony out. I think, Phil Spencer himself has said that competition is great and he would love for PlayStation to always be around just like Xbox as well as Nintendo, so on and so forth. But, maybe somewhere deep down, since they know that they can't buy Sony, not because of a financial reason, because they definitely have the money, but I just think since they know that they can't buy Sony, they're like, well, maybe we can find other ways to get them out of the way. But I still feel, me personally, even if they get an EA, even if they pick up also a Take-Two and have, Grand Theft Auto and BioShock and NBA 2K and, a bunch of games like that exclusive to Xbox and PC, I still feel like PlayStation 5 from a hardware selling standpoint will win this generation. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think a lot of that too is because I think the PlayStation name, the PlayStation brand is just too strong, and a lot of what makes, I know that you can't quite put them on the same level because Nintendo first party titles, a lot of them just do ridiculous numbers, but I think, especially now, Sony is probably thinking about, we are going to have to rely more on first party output and not so much rushing games out or anything like that, but getting some more developers and creating more teams to make amazing first-party games for their gamers. I say that because I think Sony understands, even more so than a lot of their diehard fans, that this is not over. Microsoft is going to continue to take third-party games away from our platform and possibly keep them exclusive to Xbox and PC forever, regardless of the fact that they used to do huge numbers on PlayStation. Microsoft is definitely counting on, millions of PlayStation gamers, not so much making a switch to Xbox, but buying an Xbox or getting involved in PC gaming to play some of these games in the future. You can bet your ass that that's the case. They want you in their ecosystem, the same as Sony, the same as Nintendo. Is Microsoft playing fair? I mean, what is fair? For the people that are crying about this, I will always tell it like it is on this channel. While I do have a preference for PlayStation when it comes to consoles, I'm telling you right now, you need to stop crying about it, because for me, in my opinion, there's no difference between Sony buying up 8 or 9 developers in the course of 6 or 7 years, we'll say, just a random number, compared to Microsoft buying up 8 or 9 in the same day. That's my opinion, or even more than that. I don't care if it's 10 or 15. If Microsoft can afford to do so, which they can, that's what they're going to do. Sony does what they can afford to do, what makes sense for them as a business. Oh, you can't keep Call of Duty exclusive to Xbox. You know how much Call of Duty sells on PlayStation? That's what I'm trying to tell you. They are counting on those millions of gamers coming over to Xbox and being involved in their ecosystem. You would still have a PlayStation, which would actually be a good thing to own multiple platforms. It's not such a bad thing, guys. Whether you're a diehard Xbox guy, PlayStation, Nintendo fan, whatever it is, it's not such a bad thing to own more than one platform. It never has been. I'm not saying that you can't be treated right and that you don't get to play a lot of amazing games by just owning one platform, but it's not such a bad thing. It's really not. You guys have this idea, a lot of you in your head, that owning multiple platforms because you just don't like Microsoft or you don't like Sony and you've hated them forever for absolutely no reason other than you like the platform that you're on. You don't actually hate this company or dislike this company genuinely. You guys are you're silly. You're ridiculous. It is interesting in so many ways because you look back, for those that were around and we've seen it, you look back at, when Call of Duty started to get huge, because Call of Duty has been around for a long time, but when Call of Duty started to get like really big, and that started with, I think it was like the Modern Warfare, the original Modern Warfare, 2006, 2007, I believe it was 2007, like that game changed everything. And not just Call of Duty, but like so many things about gaming, for better or for worse. A lot of things changed after that game came out. So, it's interesting to look back at the 360 and the PS3 and see how that unfolded. And then you look at, what's happening with the PS4 and the PS5 and Sony locking up those, Call of Duty deals and contracts and stuff because those games were selling a lot better on PlayStation anyway. It's crazy to look back and see that. And now Microsoft owns the entire company. So for me, it's just crazy to think about, but not surprising. Though one has to wonder a little bit when you look at something like Vanguard, which I don't think sold as well as, the last 2 or 3 Call of Duty games or even close. I'm sure it still sold its millions because people are obsessed with Call of Duty and buying it every year. I'm sure it still sold its millions, but, you have to wonder maybe people aren't as interested anymore. But then at the same time, Microsoft isn't a stupid company. They have tons of money. That they've crunched these numbers, so they must know something we don't. Like Call of Duty is not falling off of a cliff. I said that they were a long time ago, and I was wrong. Call of Duty it's either it gets bigger or it stays right where it's at, which is still huge. And I've just been wrong before about Call of Duty and this game falling off of a cliff. I don't know when that's going to happen. I don't know, but I feel like this acquisition, more than any other IP, more than any other name, Microsoft definitely wanted Call of Duty attached to Xbox forever. There's not really too much more we can say about it, but if somebody's putting me on the spot right now and they're asking, Icy, do you think, without a doubt, if you had to make a prediction right now, do you think Call of Duty will end up exclusive to Xbox and PC? My answer would be yes. I think Microsoft would be crazy not to. Do you think that Sony would make an acquisition like this and still put Call of Duty and Diablo and stuff on Xbox? Maybe PC in like 1 to 4 years or something, but Xbox and Nintendo? It's probably just not going to happen. You're not going to spend $70 billion to continue allowing your competition to play these games. You're going to want to force your competition and its gamers to find ways to get those games elsewhere. So, especially the gamers, right? There's not really much Sony can do about it, but you're definitely going to want to force those gamers over into your ecosystem, whether that's Xbox or PC. Microsoft would probably prefer Xbox in this case, but that's what they want. And yeah, if I had to make a prediction right now, Call of Duty will one day be exclusive to Xbox. That's the game that they're playing here. And if they buy anyone else, like a Take-Two or an EA or something, yeah, Madden, FIFA, Grand Theft Auto, NBA 2K, stuff like that, one day exclusive to Xbox. It's going to happen if they make those acquisitions. We can't have this mentality where it's okay for, Sony and Nintendo to have exclusives, huge games, huge, extremely well-known IPs at this point, in this stage of gaming. They both have, their fair share, and it not be okay for Microsoft to be like, I don't know what our first party output's going to look like, so we're just going to go buy a bunch of publishers and we know that we'll have games constantly. Every month or two, there's going to be a huge new game that's going to be coming out for Xbox and PC, and that's what they're counting on. I'm sure that they've already thought about stuff like that. Their gamers will never be hungry for games. And, first party games like the huge AAA, must play type of games that people have in their minds, those games take a little bit longer than your Call of Duties or your Battlefields or whatever. There's exceptions, of course, like Grand Theft Auto or Red Dead Redemption or a new BioShock game or something like that. Games like that take, 5, 6, 7 years or more. So, there's exceptions, of course, but Microsoft is just looking at it like, we don't want our gamers starving, and we don't want to starve. There's going to be a constant revenue, constant profit coming in because we're going to own all these games and all these IPs. It is what it is, guys. That's my take. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. We don't have to agree. We don't, but keep it respectful. Tell me down in the comment section what you guys think. Have a good one. Take care. Peace.